Hi guys, thank you again for listening to Northern Transmissions. We're going to get into it right away with this week's featured band, Obits, with the track Widow of My Dreams off I Blame You. Hi guys, thanks again for listening to Northern Transmissions. I had the chance on this edition to sit in with Greg and Rick from Obits before their show here in Vancouver, and we discussed their musical influences and what is driving them these days to write fresh and new tracks.
We have friends who are playing now who are new bands or newish bands or that we think are great. We're playing with one tonight, the Night Marchers. We're a band called Disappears from Chicago we like a lot. The Soft Pack we like a lot. Tijuana Panthers we like a lot. The Lights, lots of bands.
You guys
really
played with the Lights last night?
Yeah. There's lots and lots of bands that we like.
What Constantines?
Constantines are from Canada. Yep.
Canadian band.
They're an awesome band. They've been around for a while. There's lots of it doesn't take much. I mean, I feel like where I came from, the music scene was abysmal, and so it was like a punk rock scene. It was really violent. People didn't want to go to shows because they'd be beaten up, and a lot of the people here, John and I, or whatever, like our bands, like made the small core bands made a decision that we were going to like branch out and like play with reggae bands and play with funk, whatever, anything. It just as long as people wanted to get involved, and it created this really strong, diverse scene where no one really cared what you played. It was just kind of like you were there, you were kind of comrades in arms or whatever, and that was how the scene, I don't know, became a strong thing. And then after that, it became, now, it's like, how you carry yourself is important. Like, it's more, I don't want to say superficial, but that's kind of what it is. I mean, it wasn't divided where I was from. And so what the point was that you look for, sometimes the bands that we are friends with or we like a lot don't always do everything that we like, but we just, they just have the right attitude and have the thing that we value in this kind of music, which is, independence and something, the opposite of cynicism, whatever that is. I don't know what the word would be, but it's I don't know. It's hard now because I think there's a lot of music, and it's especially where we live. It's a real circus right now. It didn't used to be that way.
Yes, hi, you're listening to Obits on Northern Transmissions, and we touched upon the state of music today, whether it's going through a renaissance or not.
I think it's great that there's so many ways music can be made now. It's available for anybody at any age, and in the end, whatever's still good or appealing to people to listen to is what's going to stand the test of time. But it's really great that anybody could express themselves. So I guess it's become more democratized because of the internet and technology. But in the end, some things could just be flavor of the day and not be lasting. And that's okay too, because sometimes happy accidents are the results of that lead to something. And there are all kinds of weird fusions, and that might not be our taste or my taste, but something good could come out in the end. So it's neat to see.
Do I well?
Obits with Talking to the Dog from the album I Blame You. We next talked about independent record labels and if they're still relevant today, as well as how much influence music bloggers have.
Well, you can't sell records anymore that easily. So, in that sense, yes, I would say they're less relevant. But I don't know. I don't have a real macro perspective on the whole thing. I have a very micro perspective on it. I mean, I just see our problems and what we have to deal with, and the way the rest of things work. New media and things like that. I mean, I understand it. I understand I can download a song or whatever, but I don't. The model of it, I don't know. We still really do the same model as we were doing, in the 90s and late 80s or whatever. Just play, sell some crap. Try to keep it sustainable, and that's how we do it. What's confusing to me is how since it's become so I don't know, democratic. Anyone can start a blog, and really all you need is a URL and a little bandwidth and whatever. You can post stuff, and why some things are influential and why some things aren't is a mystery to me. Like why Pitchfork Media is influential and something else isn't. I have no idea why.
I'm chatting with Rick and Greg from the Obits, and I talked a little bit with Rick about being such an influential artist.
I hear this all the time. Usually from people who come to the shows, but the shows are pretty small. So, I mean, if there is a huge influence, that's great. If there isn't, that's great. I mean, it's just kind of a matter of self-expression. So, if everyone likes it, that's great. If everyone doesn't like it, that's not as great. But still that's what it's about.
We talked about trying to go into new directions musically, and here's how Greg chimed in.
One little thing we've done is most of the songs are shorter, and so it's kind of it was a conscious thing. Maybe it's kind of superficial, but it's still, it makes us compress our ideas into a shorter span, so whatever we want to express or say has to get done in that amount of time, and so there's, I guess, a little less jamming or noodling.
Here's Pine On off the 2009 Sub Pop release, I Blame You. continuing with the discussion of songwriting process, we talked about if there was any pressure when they were recording the new album.
I can't say we're totally immune to that kind of stuff, but we're pretty immune to that kind of stuff. We're not totally immune to it, but we probably, I looked at reviews, and I looked at, I liked what people said, and it was fascinating, but it's like, it's just, I mean, like I said, there's no money in it. We just do it because we like it, so it doesn't really matter if we get send the record stuff up and they're like, this is Drek. We'd be like, well, I don't know what to tell you. But yeah, we just broke it into a couple things and recorded our songs just pretty much straight up, and that was it.
That's awesome.
It was easy.
I finally had to ask Obits about Milk Cow Blues, since they do such an awesome version of it. What is your favorite version of Milk Cow Blues?
Kinks.
And Kokomo Arnold, I like his.
I still like the Kinks one. I like the rocked out one best.
Yeah.
It's definitely not ours. But I love playing. It's really fun. But ours doesn't have that bounce, the same bounce that the Kinks would have.
But that's what kind of inspired our version, right?
Yeah. And the Nomads one is really good too. And the Chocolate Watch Band one is really good. And Johnny Chan and the New Dynasty 6 did a good one too. You ever heard them?
No.
That's pretty good. I don't know. There's a bunch of versions of that.
And what didn't, it's like I think George Strait and also has a version. You know George Strait, right? The country.
Country, but he's like a.
I haven't heard that.
Yeah.
Was it all rockin'? Because there's kind of a couple different versions. There's like an Elvis-y one that's not the same. There's like two Milk Cow Blues in it, and they're not the same thing.
Oh, you mean like the traditional version, and they're not the same?
Yeah, there's the one that Eddie Cochran does is not like the one we do at all. It's totally.
It's amazing that song was written. It was written in the 30s, right? That track,
and
it's still. I mean, and it's still. Some songs can really just, outlive the. Other songs are just like, like you don't want to hear 99 Red Balloons. I mean, if you don't hear that song again, it's not going to fucking kill you. But that song really holds a.
Yeah, a lot of what was going on in the 20s with the early jazz and the old blues, they were rocking. They had it down. Two or three chords. And something to say, something to moan about.
Those guys were writing,
That's pretty much it. And they go white.
And it was all like one live take. That's another thing. That's a sensibility we appreciate.
Right. It must have been one take, right? Because it was like now it's like digital. It's like one press or whatever, or whatever you recorded.
Oh, you could do it. You could do whatever you want. You could still get like all that stuff, and there's places that you can do that.
Ladies and gentlemen, that's a wrap. Thanks again for listening to this edition of Northern Transmissions featuring Obits. I hope you enjoyed it, and thank you, as always, to producer, magician extraordinaire Andrew Kallstrom. And here is Obits with their version of Milk Cow Blues.
Oh shit!
No, somebody just went. I just saw
A rat?
Really? Yeah.
That's a little house.
We just
little
saw-
rat house.
Saw somebody come home.
That's awesome.